Today we have Young Feminists Emerge Part 2. During Part 1 last week, we had very, very heated debates. We heard a perspective that maybe we've never heard on the radio before. We spoke on Ruweng, which I think we will continue a bit of today. But our guests today are very special. We have two very young ladies and one experienced human rights, right? Experienced, not old, because somehow myself and my special guest got called old on my own show. Believe me, that will never happen. What we are experienced and gold, as you all know it. I will allow my guests today to introduce themselves. Let's start with both of you. Please introduce yourself to the good people.
Hello, good afternoon and good evening.
Yes,
both
welcome.
of them, I guess. My name is Adeng Leek. I'm a student of Industrial and Applied Sciences at the University of Juba, and also a makeup artist by profession. It's a really great opportunity to be here today. I'm really glad I've been called, here to talk. In our country, we have a lot of issues, and those issues are what we are about to bring out here.
Okay.
A lot are not spoken about, and to be honest, it's not great out there. It's ugly out there, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What a way to start off. We'll give an opportunity for others to introduce themselves and then come back to these pressing issues. Yes, introduce yourself, guest number 2.
Oh, thank you very much. My name is Christine Dogbarengare. I'm a student at Catholic University, studying bachelor's in English and literature. I'm so excited to be here today and as an emerge feminist.
So beautiful. You are most welcome.
Thank you
to
very
the show,
much,
Kristen. And then my special guest.
Wow, thank you so much, Eva. I like the voices of the young ladies.
Right?
I wish I was on radio as well when I was their age. So again, my name is also Adeng Leek, and I'm a founder of Opportunities for South Sudanese initiative, officially registered today. So we're talking about opportunities.
Congratulations! Yay!
So this one will focus on empowerment of girls as well and youth. And it is it's a unique organization. It's going to be unique. So I work at Nonviolent Peace Force as a program manager, and I'm a feminist, let me say, human rights advocate, and looking forward to great discussion. Thank you, Eva.
Thank you so much, Adeng, for being here. And let me tell you, she actually downplayed who she is a lot. Adeng is one of those people that you cannot silence. She will continue to speak for women all the time. So I really thank you for being here. And most importantly, to empower young ladies who are with us in the studio, because usually it's a conversation from afar, right? We think we never really are in the same table and talking to each other. So this is a great opportunity, and congratulations on the organization, which I guess you'll tell us more about it during the show. Okay, I want to start off by mentioning that Kristen and Adeng are joining us today because of the Feminist Talking Circles training, which was conducted by Mama Rasakid and UNFPA. Shout out to both. Those training sessions are basically to help young people understand what feminism is and the different types of feminism, because we understand that there's a lot of misconceptions of feminism out there, and what better way to introduce what it really is than by starting with the young people. I think older people need an understanding of what feminism is as well. I mean, we know that this topic is very controversial for South Sudanese. So let me ask the two of you who have been through the training, why were you interested in joining the training? Why were you interested? What is it about feminism that you were attracted to?
Well, to be honest, for me, the first time I was called and I was told there's a training, I didn't ask much what it's all about. So I turned up the next day, and it's actually talking about feminism. And I've always wondered what's really feminism, because people's perspective of what it is and what it actually is turned out to be two different things. Most people have once you say you're feminist, oh God, they're the ones Like someone, I remember someone called termed it as "you're the rebels." Like wow, so that's it. So turning out, what gave me the interest in how do we call it at attending the training, honestly, is the kind of environment I found. It's amazing to be with people who understand situations or who understand you're part of the story.
Yeah.
Most of our young ladies in this country tend to be how do we call it, victim shamed. Like you find you're in a situation and you turn out to be blamed for it when you're actually not the problem in that condition. So this training enlightened, or it opened my eyes on a lot of things. People have a misconcept of feminism. Like most of them think it's mostly against men, but I found out being a feminist is more than just opposing what men say or what they think of women, but sometimes what we fellow women do to others actually matters a lot. So for me, it was a great experience and a great learning. I met a lot of, brilliant minds, amazing young ladies who have a different perspective of understanding things. So the training basically taught me more than I could learn from the community or even from school.
Right.
Yeah.
Very nice. And Kristen, what was your experience? What actually made you interested in the training, and how much have you learned?
Oh, thank you very much, Eva. The training, when I got the invitation for the training, the first thing I read was a feminist talk. I got excited. In myself, before I attended the training, I believe I am a feminist because I really love to support what is related to women. I'm a student, and a student in a mixed school where we face a lot from the male gender. So I really felt like, no, I need to attend this training. I need to get more knowledge. Like maybe there are certain things I don't know, but with this with the training, I'll be able to know it. For instance, how to handle myself. Like Adeng said, there's a lot of misconception out there. Yes, there's a lot of misconception out there, but when you're faced with this kind of people, how do you support, how do you defend yourself from them? You see, some of us do not know how to defend ourselves whenever we call ourselves feminists, and we get all these challenges from people, especially the other gender. So even our fellow gender also, they be like, no, what are you doing? You are a feminist. I think said somebody called her a rebel. Yes, we are being called also by our fellow women that we are rebels. You are a feminist. So what are you doing? I really got excited and I learned a lot. I also got the chance to explore on the different types of feminist, and actually I learned a lot of many things. We also talked about the gender roles. There are certain things out there that are made, it's the society thinks it's only the women who are supposed to do this, forgetting that there are certain things that even the women and the men can do. For instance, this is our kitchen. Of course, this is Advanced Youth Radio.
I got you. Don't
yes.
worry.
So this kitchen is supposed to be cleaned. If Christine is not around, it's important for her brother to come and clean the kitchen. So you see these kind of things, people out there don't know, or I didn't know even, because I've grown up knowing that the kitchen belongs to the women, of which men also belong to the kitchen. Of course, we are not entitled there forever, but it's a time, sometime you have to take a chance and also step into the kitchen, see how it looks, what can you do there. So I learned a lot during the training, and I'm also looking forward to know more about the feminist movement. Actually, I'm so excited to join the movement because I've been hearing about it, and I always lack a platform where to stand and also support the fellow women out there.
Okay, I'll come back to you, and I want you to marinate on this question. What you would like to do with what you have learned, or what exactly, because a lot of the times, especially with activism, sometimes we go in with everything. We want to talk about everything and be a part of everything, and it doesn't work like that. You kind of have to have a cause or something that you're very passionate about. Obviously, there's so many pressing issues that are happening, but it's impossible for one person to focus on everything and know exactly what they're talking about. So I'll come back to you with this question, what you would like to do with what you have learned, or what kind of career path you want to take from this. How do you move forward with it now? Adeng, I don't know, what are your thoughts on just opportunities for these young ladies? Because I know a lot of them are already young activists that are already speaking up, or at least trying to speak up and trying to figure out their how. So maybe you can give us a bit of input of what can shape their path.
Oh, wow. I just want to ask, how old are you guys?
I'm 24.
MashaAllah.
MashaAllah,
I'm
Shadid.
23.
23. 20. Let me just stick into 20. So as I was listening to you guys, I was like, oh, I wish I have learned all this feminism when I was in Sudan.
Yeah.
Sudan, Khartoum. I was raised there. So at that time, at the age of, let me say 16, they tell us you have to learn how to cook. They tell us you have to dress up in a certain way. You have to speak in a certain way. You have to treat your brothers in a certain way. I understand this actually brought us in a very respectful society and brought us actually to be a very respectful girls. But we couldn't talk like you at your age, which is 20. Why? Because I can say it was a game of mind. It was an oppression in our mind. At the age of 20, I was thinking, oh, let me go to university, clear, and get succeed, and have a certificate and put it on the wall. And that's it, I'll get married afterwards. I have no plan after that. Thank God, being a rebel.
Sometimes works in your favor.
Actually, I am called like that in the house. So being a rebel has actually made me look for opportunities. And let me say how I started. I started with changing my mindset. You change your mindset. You can actually change it from how you were raised to who you want to be. I started watching Oprah Winfrey. I started watching a lot of videos about women's right, all these things. By then I didn't know even it was called women's right. I knew that those are women who are rich. I wanted to be rich because we understand money by then. So from there, when I started, I said, let me change my mindset. I know now what I want to do with my education and which pathway I want to take. So when we speak about opportunities, you have to start with yourself. Change your mindset, change yourself, and have somebody in your life, okay, a mentor who will support you to be who you want to be. I don't know if ever you want me to go deep.
Please, I mean, we're
Yes.
here to learn. Yes.
So opportunities, there are a lot of opportunities outside there, but you have to identify what you want. Because if you don't identify what you want and your goal, the objectives, and also your values, you will end up lost. One day you are an artist. The next thing you are, I don't know, is it an engineer? And then you'll find yourself into the medical school or even medical, field. Or you find yourself one day on the street being an activist. But activism takes courage also. So it's good that you started with a training at this age to understand what feminism is all about. But also, what do you want to do with feminism? What do you want to do? What do you want to change being an activist? Because you will be an activist today, and you will continue being an activist, and you might get lost, not fighting for the right of women, but looking for fame. And fame is not bad, to be honest, but as well as you are going into the right path. Like Eva Lopa now, she is an MC. She is, wow. She's doing great thing. You find her in different events and she's learning, and she's also teaching, she's actually mentoring our sister here. So she's putting that, gift into somebody else to continue. So that's what I see also from women who are empowered, are also creating generation of that. Maybe we can go in depth on how you can find opportunities as we go into the discussion, but it will not be a discussion that will only continue on radio. It is a long process. But one thing I want to say, know yourself, what you want. If you are lost, find yourself. And if you find yourself, you are lost in a society or even in a family, let me say family, because society starts with your family. Your house will tell you, oh, you're just a woman. What are you trying to learn? Please just try and instruct yourself from that family, not leave the house, but create your own imaginary inside that house. I'm telling you out of experience. You create something that you want to be. Now, a lot of people are saying that we want to be like Adeng. Those are the people who were objecting me from doing extra things. So, yeah, that's the start of the conversation.
Thank you. That was absolutely amazing. I want to give you an opportunity to ask whatever you would like to ask from what she's just shared.
Yeah, sure. I want to ask.
Go ahead, Jackie.
By the way, if I sit each time I sit next to you, I have a moving energy because you made me what I am today.
Aw.
I've never known of feminists like since I was growing up. And there is that concept when I begin learning about feminism and also trying to compare it with our traditions, because there are some activities that happens within our cultures, like our societies, but then we don't have a name to give it. For example, I remember my mother telling me a story that her mother one time refused to cook because each time she cooked chicken, it's only the husband to eat. So that time the chicken was slaughtered and she just covered the chicken in the saucepan without even removing the feathers, like the whole of it, the way it is, and until the husband's return. So she carried and gave the husband. So the husband was thinking it's like it used to be. But then there was already a kind of, intentional kind trying to defend herself. And then when they opened, in fact, the husband were with friends. They opened, the chicken was there with the feathers. And in fact, she even poured cold water there. Okay. Then the time I begin learning about feminism, because it's a movement that women seek also their spaces. But then when we begin talking about this, also we seek our spaces, it's being perceived like something which is foreign. Then how can we move about that? For us who are young, when you begin talking about certain things, they'll say, hey, who knows who will marry you even? You're not getting married, you are getting spoiled, all of the things. So sometimes we are kind of shocked in a situation and we do not know how to carry on with. So how can we, like young people, because all names are being given to us, you're in discipline. How did you get yourself into this? This is not what the culture says. Your mother never does that. So as a young person, how can I have that, momentum of?
That's a very difficult question.
Oh, yes.
Up to now, even as an activist, sometimes we are confused between being disciplined and also doing what that is your right. Okay. As even you are an activist, right? You are a feminist, but always respect your elders. I don't want to say like everything should be by force. It's also the change of mindset, to be honest, what is happening in the society now. Like you find a family waiting for the girl coming back from school to cook, despite her going to school. She had been the whole day in the school, and then she comes back, she cooks, she cleans, and she does all these things. That's the society criteria, or even the level that they have put us in. They said the women are supposed to be in the kitchen, no matter what you have been doing. Even if you find a mother is tired, sick, she still, provide. But I just want to say that this thing cannot be changed abruptly. It cannot. It's difficult.
Yeah.
So what we can do is the change of mindset, and even those things had been contributed by the mothers also. Huh? The way you raise your child in the house. Your son today will say that, oh, as a woman, okay, as maybe your brother, your mother will say, oh, go and give your brother food. And you find that your brother actually can go to the kitchen. After he eats, he throws the plates in front of you. Go and wash it. Does it not affect him in the future? Even in his life, leave alone the plate. In his life, you'll find that he is not organizing his life properly. Even the way he comes and treats the women, he treats them in a very funny way sometimes, But it starts from childhood. The mother should treat the children equally, be it a male or a female. Because there is a say that one of our pastors said that corruption starts from home. The mother or the father will you will see a boy or a girl coming with a new car or a new mobile at the age where you cannot afford it, and then will ask you, will not ask you, where did you get it from? Maybe you stole it. Maybe it was given as a gift by somebody who was trying to abuse you. But you just say, oh, it's fine. You got it? That's nice, beautiful, sit, enjoy. And then from there, you will get used to getting things or stealing things from there and all these things. So to answer you, it's very important to know yourself, as I said. And also there are times that you say no. Today, mom, I cannot do that. Reason is this. But what I can say that this is into your personal level, but into the society level, for us to change that perspective onto the woman, understanding of women, it is very important to start from the house, from home, and then it will go up. Like sometimes I walk, I don't find time to cook. Then my mom will be telling me, Adeng, you're supposed to be cooking. And then I was like, you don't know why I went out on Saturday. Maybe in the morning I had a meeting, extra meeting. Never know. So sometimes to not make her angry, I cook. But in our house, let me say, I put a role that if you want us to do this, a rule. I said, if you want us to do this, boys should do that. Okay? Because you find in a house, there is a house where you find a boy is not even contributing into anything, leave alone cooking, even putting water in the barrels, buying them, is not even doing it. So that's mean you're not teaching the children what? Responsibility. So my mom left this one to me because I'm an activist. She knows what it can come from my mind and she believes on me. She says, yeah, take charge. And that's what I do. Boys should do that. And when they eat, they wash their dishes. And when there is no food, I tell them, please find a way of doing something for yourself. Don't wait for us. So this is how you change the generation. So continue, right, to do what you can do. And we will talk more about it.
Okay. And Kristen and Adeng, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask? Go ahead. Don't be shy.
It's okay listening to you. Actually, those are very beautiful inputs that you're putting, Adeng. Yes, these are the things that we face. Like you said, it starts from family and goes to the society out there. What I will ask is that, there's a lot of this. Okay, the saying, it's like when you say you're a feminist, it's like you've imported a foreign culture into you, and again you are a rebel, like what she said, in discipline. Yeah, I believe it's going to take us some good time so that maybe 70% of the people, the society, understand that feminism doesn't mean that you're in discipline or you are rebelling, you're putting the cultural values down. So as an emerging feminist, after this program, maybe I may step out and somebody out will be like, yeah, I was listening to you. So what's up? What were you saying? You mean this and this and that is not happening? So how do I defend myself? How do I defend the movement from this kind of challenges? They'll ask you bad words, they'll be like, so they even go up to your, to your gender identity and put other things. So with this kind of challenges, because it's everyday challenge, I also face this in my classroom. Yes, I am a teacher to be. So I really need I really need more training on feminists. I'm not saying I am going to change these kids out there to to devalue their parents or to devalue their cultures, but how do I defend the movement out there?
I have a question for you. Do you believe on feminism? Yes. Okay. When you were learning, you put the challenges into your mind, right? What are the opportunities that you have put also into your mind?
Okay, while learning about feminism, I put a lot of opportunities, like, okay, I will also say like expectations. I always say that if I am really into this movement, at least I will be able to change, to change the minds of the people around me, especially the girls, even my own elder sisters or my parents, anyone around me, as long as they are women or men. I also felt like with the opportunity of, getting the training of feminists, I am able to even sit down with a man and tell him, please, what you think about feminist is not, it's not right. This is what and what it is. We are not trying to take it from you. The men, I'm saying the men, I know they are out there listening. They will think that I'm trying to, to attack them, but no, I felt like I'll be able to sit down with a man and we discuss the feminist kind of thing. I'm not saying that, for instance, if I have a boyfriend, I'm not saying that I'm not loving you because I'm a feminist. No, but I need you to know that you can value me. I want you to value me more than what I am. And if you have a sister also out there, try to value her. See her as a human. Don't see her as someone just who's just, she's a sister. Yeah, yeah. So
You see, it's good to turn the question to you because you have answered yourself. Because you have actually a desire and a drive to be a feminist, to change people. It's not only about you. That's what I like from you. Is that because I said it's okay to be famous, but when the fame goes in a very wrong direction and it becomes selfish, this is another thing. So you have answered yourself. But one thing I want to say is that as a feminist, sometimes you have to close your ear, block it. Do not listen only into the negative things. Yeah, you will come out of here and they will say, oh, you have been talking about that. No one will marry you. My dear, I've been accused several times being a feminist. Let me tell you a story. Let me get it personal. Okay, somebody went and said that the reason why my wife is asking for the divorce is because of Adeng, who's an activist. You get it? So I'm a home what?
Homebreaker.
Homebreaker. That's a big word, by the way. It's a reputation issue. My dear, I know my right. I called him and I told the wife, the next thing I'm going to do is to arrest him for tarnishing my image.
Pronto.
Yes. Why? Because I am not the reason why the wife is asking the divorce. The woman knows her right and she has seen that her right has been violated. Okay? So do not include me there. And that was the conclusion of what he has said. And they had to beg me not to do that, not to arrest him. I was actually going to arrest a relative, someone closer to me. When it comes to this reputation business, even your relative should not do that. I'm not saying arrest your mother or your father. Okay, there is a lady who arrested her parents because they were forcing the marriage. Sometimes it might happen. But also stand for your right. Be strong, stand for your belief. Do not surrender, do not give up. Okay, if your feminism is for the good cause, please do it. And one thing I just want to say, advice. You are a feminist, yeah? Give people advices, okay? But do not get so personal. Let the people take their own decision. Usually when I'm doing my own mentorship, I always ask people, what do you want? I want them to put their goals. I want them to put their objective and the value they believe in. I cannot bring the value that I believe in and force it into you. So you do your feminism. Get out today. When they ask you and they tell you, oh, you have been talking about this one. Oh, do you think somebody will marry you? It's okay. The person will come. The person will come, believe me. We are still there waiting. We are hoping for the best. So as you come out, even explain to them what is feminism. If they believe it, welcome. If they don't believe it, it's okay. One day they will believe it. Their children will teach them. Their friends will teach them. So
Absolutely. I think last week, Raila and Alwal asked the same question. How do I respond? How do we respond to people? How do we defend? And I was telling them that once I understood what I want to do and how I'm doing it, I stopped defending it. It just stopped right there and then. I think mainly because once you have a clear picture of where you're going, no noise around it matters. I'm going to get there whether you believe me or not, but I'm going to get there. That's why in the beginning I asked you what you want to do with it, with what you've learned and how you want to get there. It's really, really important that we understand what our purpose is. Because if you don't understand that, you become a part of everything. And you talk about like you said earlier, you become an engineer one day, and then you're on radio the other day, and then you're talking about this the next day and that the next day. It becomes very confusing because you don't have a cause. You don't have a clear picture of where you're going. Once you understand that, nothing else is going to matter. I will sit here and listen to you. Before, it wasn't possible for me to sit and have a conversation about feminism with someone who is not a feminist, or someone that has disagreements on feminism. It was not possible. But now I can sit here and listen to you. I'll also give you my perspective or my thoughts, and I'll walk away fine, still getting to my goal. Whether you believe it or not, it does not matter anymore. I'm going to get there. So I really would love for you. Go ahead, Kristen. I saw you want to ask something. I mean, Adeng.
Yeah, I have a very, disturbing question. Like,
disturbing.
Yes, very
Go
disturbing. How do I go? Being a feminist is all about advocating for women and girls' rights, right? But how do you help someone who doesn't need to be helped or who doesn't want your help? Let me say, like, some girls out there, they're actually comfortable with the injustice and the inequality and the violence that's being done with them. You may find a situation, let me say, maybe I'm living with my cousin. I'm one who doesn't, you don't tell me what to do. I speak up my mind.
Yeah.
But somewhere, somehow, someone is a good girl and she's obedient. You find maybe she has school and she has work at the same time. She works all week and goes to school at the same time. And she has like only Sunday has a day off, a free day. So instead of resting, she'll be doing chores instead, washing people's clothes, brothers, cousins, cooking and all this. And let me say, me as a feminist, of course I'll try to speak out for her, because you can't force me to do what I don't want to do. But for her, she's not complaining. So when you try to speak out, like it's telling people, why are you making this girl do this? And you know what she goes through the whole week. They'll ask you questions like, why are you speaking out for her? And she's not complaining. Why are you the one complaining and all this? And when you try maybe to talk to your fellow lady, like to speak out for herself, like, you find she's okay with doing all that, but it's really not fair, because you can see the exhaustion and all that she goes through, and it's really not fair. It's even not good for her health, but still she decides not to speak out for herself. And you really want to help her, because I can't really watch this injustice being done to someone and I don't say out something. But if she can't even speak out for herself, how am I supposed to help? So from an expert and a human rights activist, like, I want to really know, how do you help such people? Because we have so many of those within our country.
You know what you just said. No one can force you to do what you don't want to do. The same thing applies to somebody else. You cannot force somebody else to do what they don't want to do. I think feminism a lot of the times tries to focus on communities and systems, because it's very difficult for you to change one person's perspective, right? But if you change a community, if you change how the school system treats women and men, or young girls and young boys, or systems that treat women and men differently, communities that give them gender roles and so on. If you can change that, it can now come down to the people. Do you get what I'm saying? But you cannot force somebody, and you have to learn to really, and I know it really bothers your soul, and it's very triggering, but you have to learn to be okay with when you get through to someone, and also be okay when you don't. Because feminism, if I've learned anything, a lot of the times you're not going to get through to people. You might leave a mark, but you won't get through to everyone. So you have to be okay with that. Yeah, and sort of, you can speak your mind, you can speak your piece, let her know of your opinion, But if she doesn't want to hear it, you have to be okay with that. If she also doesn't want to change, you have to be okay with that. Yeah, let's start on that ground.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jackie.
And I think it also has to do with the mind, as Alex says, because some of us need psychological liberation. If you have been doing something for years, like a young girl growing up, you see that it's an obligation. It's a must for you to do it because you're a girl. So that is already in you, like it's imbued. So the mind tells you it's your work because you have been doing it. It has been a practice, it's a culture. So when you begin provoking someone, it's like you're bringing a foreign attitude in them. They might get you wrong. So maybe you also try to live by example. Like maybe if you engage with them in a conversation, give suggestions. Don't dictate on them. You're not supposed to do this. You had a busy week. Like you're not supposed to do that. I suggest you just have a conversation, like kind of counseling or an advice. Our bodies need rest. For example, when you're growing up as a young person, for you to reason well, your body also needs rest. Like physically and mentally, there are things that we share with all the genders. Your brother has a hand, make it simple to them, but don't force it. You can have a conversation. If they're your friends, you can have conversation with them once in a while. Don't be so tough on them, because when you push somebody hard, they may mistake you. But also living with them, they see how you do your things, how you engage with your brothers. They will get to that sense, because it has to do with the mind. And the mind is the one to dictate like something that has been happening. So don't push people so hard. They will mistake you.
Yeah, maybe I can add.
Go ahead.
Yes, as Eva said, and she said, that's all valid points, by the way. Maybe she's comfortable doing that. You never know. But tell her to rest, because her body speaks to her. It's our mind that receives the message from our body. Like our body, if I'm tired, I cannot lie. Before they say do not sleep at afternoon when we were young. But now, if I'm tired at afternoon, I sleep. Okay? If my mind said, today I'm going to serve people. By the way, serving people does not have holiday. At any time they will call you, oh, a woman is suffering. She has been beaten by the husband. Maybe at 2 a.m., 12 a.m., and she calls you, come and rescue me on a Sunday where you're supposed to be resting. Let me tell you a story.
You have a story for everything, huh?
On Sunday, I came from a pork joint. My friend called me at 10 a.m. and she was like, 10 p.m. And she was like, Adeng, I'm not feeling happy. No, around 8 p.m. She said, Adeng, I'm not happy. I want to go somewhere around the corner. I live in Lemongaba. I want to go somewhere around the roadside. Let's go and have pork and we do some chat. I said, okay, let's do it. We came back around 10:30. Seeing a woman on the floor, sitting down, crying. And my friend was the one driving the car. I was like, stop, on the road. Stop. Then she stopped. And then I was like, my dear, this woman, she's going through something. And in my mind, she has been beaten by the husband. Apparently not. She's in labor pain.
Oh.
Labor pain at 10:30 p.m. And then I looked into the house, because it's not fenced, by the way. I looked into the house and I found men are sitting there and another woman is sitting there and they're looking at her laughing. As somebody who did not give birth before, labor pain for me is painful.
Right.
I'm thinking what she's going through. Immediately I went and I quarreled with them. What are you guys doing? What if she dies? Blah, 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 blah. And they said, no, this is how she is. It's not her first child. I said, okay. Bring the papers for the hospital immediately. Which hospital do you go to? Do you actually do your checkup? Thank God, Mary Queen, not far, in Gurey. We rushed. We took her at around 10:30, where I was supposed to be sleeping, because Monday is next day. We ran. Guess what? The woman gave birth at around 1 a.m.
Wow.
So this was not a joke. It was a serious labor pain that she was almost giving birth. She gave birth, and luckily, I think the baby will be named Adeng.
Oh, wow.
And then with my other friend will be named Wilma. So services can be called at any time. I'm not saying that your brother should call you while you are sleeping. Wake up and watch for me. By the way, you might serve at your young age now. There is a time you'll be like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
You will retire. So tell your sister, learn to listen to your body. If you are tired, stop. If you want to do that, give it a certain period of time. You can wash the clothes, you can do whatever you want to do. Let me tell you something, there is worse injustice than what you're saying. There is worse, and the injustice is what is coming from the society outside and from also political system, and it's also the system that is you find in the private sectors, even sometimes in the school. It's good that you are talking about that. That's mean when you see her that she's suffering one day, you will tell her, stop it. Continue. It's okay. Don't force her, but tell her rest. Tell her, come, let's talk. Talk to her about body. Maybe she doesn't even understand what is the meaning of resting. Yeah.
We have about 10 minutes to go. I want to give you, both of you, 5 minutes. I'll give you 2.5 each to just let me know what your final remarks are, especially about the training, where you're planning to take it, the question I asked earlier. And then Adeng, the last 5 minutes, I want you to tell us more about the organization, how people can contact you, what we can do with this organization. I know you personally, so I know that this is going to be an opportunity-filled organization, and I really want to know more about it. So we'll start with Kristen. Go ahead and let us know how you plan to take this forward.
Okay, thank you very much, Eva. With the training, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take forward, I'm not saying I am going to devalue the cultures. I'm going to put the cultures down and step on them. No, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is, from the story that Adeng has shared about a woman who was in labor pain and other men were like, no, this is the same thing she goes through. That's what that's what I want to change. Yes, don't say that it's the same thing that she goes through. No, go to her, listen to her. What are you going through? What can I do to help you? If I can do that out to people there, I will be glad. Like I said, I need to sit with people who do not know what feminist is and talk to them. I'm not going to change them, but like you said, if they want to change it, they will change. If they don't want, it's okay, let them continue. But I will not stop, talking about the feminists. No, we are not going to stop here.
I love that.
Yeah, we are not going to stop here.
I love that.
Thank you.
The best advice I've ever received in my life, the best, came from my father. And he said, learn what you're talking about before you talk about it. And I took that to heart. I took it personally until today. Why I'm saying that to you is that learn more about what you want to talk about. If it's feminism, learn more about feminism. Find resources, read books, learn about other women, other feminists who have done this before, how they did it. The more you learn, the more you can do. Trust me, it's the way to go. Yeah. Okay. Adeng, tell us how you plan to take this forward.
For me, it's more of how I'm taking it forward.
Adeng has got an attitude on her. I'm worried. This girl is going to take it to places. Go ahead.
What I want to do, it's more of what I'm already doing. To be honest, after the training, I've already changed a few minds of people, of their perspective of what feminism is. Actually, not just girls, but also males. Like a lot of guys have changed their minds. Like when I start explaining actual work the feminists do and what feminism is all about, they're like, oh, okay. So it's like this. So, a colleague was like, how do I call it? When I said I'm a feminist, it was like, it's actually, I advise you become a feminist at the age of at least 40 to 50. I'm like, but why? I'm at my youthful age where I can do more than, when I'm around 50, 40. Like, what will I be doing there? I should be resting at that time. If I can help those in need right now, why do I have to wait until I'm old, to start doing it? Someone's like, actually, first get married, then become a feminist. Like, what? Why? So I've already actually achieved a bit of, what I want to do with this. I've changed people's mind. You don't have to make others feminists, but you just have to make them understand what it's all about. So when you're trying to do what is right, they won't oppose you because they understand it. Even though they don't join you in the movement, it's okay. As long as they understand what I'm doing, it's not to harm others. It's to help those who can help themselves. Yeah.
Oh, Adeng is pumped. Just say, what you mean later? I'm doing it now.
Useful age.
You know, youthful age. I hope you weren't talking about me because, I was 16 like last week. Okay. All right. So, Adeng, I want to close with you. Let us know about the organization, please, and how we can reach you or become a part of this.
Perfect. The organization is going to start with those two girls.
Nice. Yes. This is free mentorship, right? If you mess this up, I will look for you and kick your ass.
So feminism is not only for women. Also, there are men who are feminists. I have a lot of friends who are feminists.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to marry a man who is a feminist. Not only in mouth to get votes or whatever if he's a politician, but I want a man who is a feminist who will train me and also bring me up. Because my mentors are not only women, also men. So, opportunities for South Sudanese initiative. I am the founder, not the executive director, because I'm working currently. So I'm looking for executive director. So it's registered today. It's basically, I found it actually in 2015. And it took me long to register it. How many years? 7 years. 7 years.
About, yes.
Above. These opportunities for South Sudanese is basically an online platform before that I used to put opportunities like trainings, conferences, and so on. When I finished university, I said, I want a job with the foreign affairs. And they were like, nope, we are not giving you a job. I started as a volunteer afterwards for 9 months unpaid. And then I started looking for opportunities, online. And I was accepted in most of the opportunities. I was accepted to go learn about election and governance at a very young age. I started my career. Afterwards, I worked at the African Union Commission through an application I found online. So opportunities for me is something that you will find from different people, even online, even from the word of mouth as you're sitting. If you are a kind of person like me, I have moved digital. This is called Remarkable. It's a notebook. I always like writing up ideas. Tick, 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 tick. Every time somebody is talking, I write it down. I take it as an opportunity. Like your notes is here. So when you are sitting even in a place of tea, as people say, is an idle place, people who are idols, sometimes you get opportunities from there and ideas. It's all about what you you make use of it. So it's an organization that will focus on transforming the mindset, even the communities, especially the youth. The first, what I said is that it will focus on entrepreneurship, okay, career development, self-development, let me say that, and also livelihood activities, and it will also focus on human right aspect, but in order to transform also the communities. Why I say that? Because I've realized that we talk about human rights all the time, but we don't actually provide resources or even services. So I'm always a believer that when I change the mind of somebody in the village, he can do great things to his community, even all the way to town. So this organization will not only focus on the aspect of activism only, like sometimes they say making noise, but it is going to go deep down. The activism that you go deep down in the communities to identify what is the problem with this community and then bring an opportunity for that. So scholarships, I'm looking forward to get scholarships for students, finding a way of that, and vocational training. I'm not only focusing on educated people, but also vocational training for people who could not have an opportunity to get training. There is a boy in our house who came from the village, Lake State. He went into adult education. The boy speaks good English, I swear, good Arabic. He writes down and he makes sure he goes for tulba, hard labor, and he goes to school afterwards. And he is even more better than the person who went to school.
Very nice.
So it's very important to do that. You can reach out to the page on Facebook. It's called Opportunities for South Sudanese. In the process, we are trying to do the website, but the first session that we are planning to do, and we are looking for funding for it, is people who are living with disability. Are they accessing opportunities? That's the first session that I said I will do. I'll bring somebody from the parliament. I'll bring Miss Deaf. I'll bring a basketballer who is also a deaf person, and see how this person is utilizing the opportunities.
Yeah.
So you're welcome. It will be mid of this month, maybe Jamajuba. So I will let you guys know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adeng. I can't stress how much this kind of initiative is important. And I love that your first session has to do with persons with disability. I think we've had many on the show, and they always talk about opportunities not being available. So kudos to you on that. I'm really excited about this organization. I better see both of you there for the first session, facilitating, helping, being something. Both of you, I better see you there. I'll personally pass the contact numbers and follow up with this. Okay, but thank you so much to all of you for coming on the show and sharing your thoughts, your opinion. Adeng, I'm always thankful to you for being so honest and just so powerful in your own right. It gets me pumped up every time. That's why I'm so excited every time you come on. And when I knew these ladies were going to come on the show, I said, no better person than Adeng to provide advice. There's not going to be a better person. And you came in with your own surprise of this organization, which now we can extend to your batch of training. I think you were the first batch of training, right? You're the second batch of training. There was a first, a second, and then there's a third that is going to happen. So also, if anyone out there would like to take part of this training, I think it doesn't only have to focus on young women, any woman, also men. You can join in and learn a bit more of what is happening. Please go to gendertalk211.org and email us, and we will connect you to the right people. Our pages also, you have Mamarasakit Village on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Gender Talk 211 on all of the platforms as well. And for you, the audience, which camera am I on? For you, the audience online, I want you to give me your thoughts in the comments down below on feminism, also on purpose, and what are the pressing issues for women nowadays. I think we wanted to go in that and touch on Ruang, but we've already passed on the time. So I'm sure there will be other moments where we can discuss this. Jackie, I'll give you 1 minute before we roll out.
I'm just so happy about our guest and you, Eva, since last year. I just want to wish you a very blessed evening as we wait for the Pope. The Pope's coming, by the way.
I know the Pope is coming. The Pope is coming. Well, thank you for letting us know. The Pope is coming tomorrow, and we'll be back here next week, and maybe we'll discuss. I think Jackie will be coming back with Gender Talk News, with Gender News next week. Maybe you can tell us a bit more on how the Pope did and what happened on there. Okay, but for now, I found a new song. Lil Bean, Irene Christ have come up with a song called Child Marriage. And I really, really love this song. It's very rare that I play a song by the other gender. I truly love promoting women. So we usually on the show have a playlist of women's music, you know, but this song is very touching. So I'm really excited to play it on the show for the first time. And I would like to wish you a good night. Be safe out there. Like Jackie said, the Pope is coming tomorrow and things are going to be intense. Be safe out there for the next 3 days. Make sure you're at home and you have everything that you need. Drive safe. My name is Eva Lopa. This is Gender Talk 211. You have a good night.